All right, audio check. All right, let's check the video. Hey, everybody. Okay. Hold on. Hit the button. I have them. Yeah, I have them on my phone. Let me send them to you. Oh. Did I from the event? No, I didn't. I didn't post them up yet. Probably another. Oh, probably another member had put some pictures up. I know that. Jan. His name was Jand. Jand. What was his last name? I can't forget. Can't remember. Not offhand. Hold on, I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah, just Harris. Yeah. Yeah, he posted some stuff. I didn't post mine yet. I've been so busy. I totally forgot. Yeah. I think. Yeah. It might be, yeah. It might be on there or on the NoFars, North Florida Amateur Radio Society page. Okay, I sent you some stuff too on Messenger. Okay. No, I see your living room. I see, well, let me see. On you, yeah, I see you sitting at the desk. On YouTube, I see the living room. And you, all right.
Hey everybody, guess what? It's Mike, KO4PDI. It is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's time for the KO4PDI Magical Mike's Ham Fun podcast, and we're going to talk about Winter Field Day tonight. And with me, I have a friend who I got to hang out with at Winter Field Day. Here's me and him. That's me and Mike Robinson. And he's with us tonight, and oh, look, is my dog sleeping comfortably on my recliner. Don't you love it? The dog thinks she owns the place. I took her out, tired her out today, and now I want to just do my podcast without too much trouble. And sure enough, she's chilling out on the recliner. So let's say hi to Goldie. Hey, Goldie. Oh, by the way, I came up with a call sign for her, K9AUY. Figure it out. You should be able to figure out. And there's a picture of me and Mike, and we had a grand old time. And what we're going to do now is bring Mike on and say hi. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Nothing much. You got a podcast that's starting right now, and we're having a good time with it. And
That's good.
I do this every week. I have a grand old time with it, and I hope my friends appreciate what I do here. I don't know how much they're thrilled about it or whatever. I don't know. But I get a lot of people following me, and I'm happy to let everybody know that literally I have 926 subscribers. That means I only need how many? 64 more, and I got 1,000, which means I can monetize, and then I can become a millionaire like Josh and Mike K8MRD and Jason, Smart Jason, the other Jason, and yeah, but no, I'm not going to be a millionaire. Nobody's a millionaire that does YouTube. Just so you know, Mike, I got to give Mike K8MRD. I got to give him credit, man. He quit the day job and he's just doing YouTube now, and for some reason, manufacturers love him doing their battery videos and tests on their batteries. So they send him all kinds of batteries and stuff. And you had a little experience with that too, Mike.
Oh yeah.
It's Mike to the third power today. We're talking about.
They used to call
KMRD.
me the other Mike. Because when me and Mike MRD Mike was always on online or something, it would always confuse us as hey Mike, and then both of us would answer. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, he's Mike, I'm the other Mike.
Tell me about it. By the way, you're going to make it to Hamcation?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make the full 3 days, but I'm planning to be there Saturday and possibly
Yes, I will
Sunday.
definitely be there Saturday. It may just be me going one day, but I'm working on possibly getting some place to sleep at night. I don't have that right now, and but I do have my media credentials. They have added me as a media guy, so they did last year too, and I thoroughly enjoy that because you get in a day early, and you can start talking to the vendors and get some ideas of what the new stuff is they have. I want to see that blackface. I think it's a ICOM
2730, I believe it is.
2730 with the black faceplate, the
Yeah.
black screen. I thought that was pretty cool looking. That's a nice looking portable for your car. It doesn't do sideband, so I know that's what Rob, the digital rancher, uses for satellites, but it doesn't do sideband. So to go through all that trouble to make a box to do satellites and only be able to do FM birds, to me that's not worth it. Everybody out there, that's what I didn't pop out the chat. Let me pop out the chat so I get the chat messages on my screen. I forgot to do that. That's right, nobody's chatting yet anyway. Although it says we got 2 people watching. That's you and me, Mike. We're the only ones watching.
That's all right.
All right, so let's start out from the beginning. I met Mike doing satellites. I got him on a couple of birds and got to know him. He's from up in Jacksonville area, and that's not that far from me. That's about an hour away. It's not too bad to get up there. So tell us, Mike, what's your gig in ham radio? What do you love the most? What do you like to do? What got you into it?
Well, got me into ham radio was the CB radio back in the 90s. Just about everybody, like everybody else. Started on CB radio. I had my cousin introduced me to it, and this was while I was still in New York. And I fell in love with it, and been tinkering ever since. I got my ticket, and fell in love with it some more, and was able to make all these DX contacts and talk all over the world, radio to radio, is what excites me about it. No in between, no computers in between, just my radio talking an antenna, talking to another person wherever in the world to their antenna and their radio. That's what excites me about ham radio, and providing emergency communications ever since moving down to Florida has played a big vital role in me being involved with the amateur radio spectrum here.
So, how long have you had your license? How long have you been licensed?
I've been licensed since 97,
Wow.
I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. I remember my brother, who doesn't talk to me anymore, and I don't know why. If anybody knows, please tell him I'm willing to listen to him. But it's family stuff. In the words of my nephew, oh, brothers. That's how because he's got 2 brothers too, and they have the same type of situation. Now, anyway, he kept bugging me since I moved to Florida that I should get my ham license. Well, the big thing that was keeping me from it was the need to know CW, and nothing in me wanted to struggle to try to learn a foreign language, because that's basically what CW is. And I couldn't even, I can't spell to save my life. So right there, if they don't have spell check with CW, there's no way I can communicate with anybody. But then he tells me, you don't need CW anymore. And I was like, oh, well, what can you do with it? I thought it was glorified CB. Hey, Iman came to the game. Hey, Iman, how you doing? Good to have you here. So I didn't need CW, so I said, all right, let me start looking into it. Well, a good friend of mine, Glenn, he lived in town here. He's originally from Long Island. Mike Sataretti from the Sapbox company there, CSN Technologies, was good friends with him when Glenn lived up on Long Island. And Glenn was into ham radio. So I happened to be at his house one day, and he's got a big Pioneer, no, Kenwood. He's got a big Kenwood. And he's got a stupid little ladder line inverted V out by his dock. And I'm like, that little wire you talk? Yeah, he goes, watch this. Turns it on, and he starts calling CQ. Next thing you know, he's talking to a guy in Germany. Now, you mentioned you started with CBs. So did I. I played with CB radios as a kid. I was in the civil defense, where I learned how to use a Geiger counter in case of a nuclear attack. Oh, I just remember my HT's on in the other room. If you hear any radios in the background, that's what you're hearing. Anyway, long story short, I was impressed if I could talk 2 miles on a CB radio. I was like thrilled. Well, when I got into this, the first thing I did was buy an Allowance HD1 HT and try to set it up for DMR with a hotspot. And I was clueless. I was clueless how to do that. So I talked to the guys at St. Augustine, and there happened to be a guy there that was like a real expert at setting up a Pi Zero to work as a hotspot for DMR. So he came over my house. It took him 3 hours to program this stupid little Pi Zero. And I'm going, and then what? Who do you talk to? Where do you go? What do you do? I didn't know. What's the color code? What's the room number? It was so freaking convoluted and messed up. I got a very bad taste in my mouth. And I had it, and I called out on it, and nobody ever answered. Well, I got invited by a fellow, Dave Carnegie, invited me to a luncheon. They did a luncheon down here every week, all the guys that were into ham radio. So I went to this luncheon, and that's where I met ND1C, Jim, who is now one of my best friends in life. And we hit it off as friends. He was a former Army guy who was actually in charge of transportation at the White House under George Bush and Barack Obama. And I could tell you stories about that, but I won't, because that's for him to tell. But I'll just tell you that all the rumors you hear are true. All right, so anyway, he shows me his FTM 400 in his truck and how he could instantly pick up a room and connect to it without any problems. And I went, that looks like fun. That is much simpler than DMR. And sure enough, I went out and ordered one, and I said, well, I'll keep it in the house for a little while until I figure out how to use it. Well, once I had it in the house, and then he said, oh, it can be a node, too. You could set it up as a node and use an HT to talk through it. Well, what do you think I did then? I bought another one. So I had 2 FTM 400s, of which I only got one left. It's acting as a node, and that is going to get sold any day now. So anyway, he showed me that, and I was in love with it. And the first thing I realized is this ain't enough. You know, you're like a drug addict. You need more. You need everything. And because I'm saying to myself, well, you're talking digital. It's over the internet. You know, it's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to get my general license. So in April of 21, I went to the Palm Coast Amateur Radio Society, took my test, and got my tech license. And in August, Jim gave me the general license. Jim and Lisa, actually, if you go into Hamcation, they're actually running the test session there, I think on Friday. So they'll be there. You can meet them. Anyway, so I took the general test, and they jerked me around, made me think I failed when I really passed. And I was off to the races after that. I bought a Yaesu 991A. I had that in the house and having a grand old time with that. Through luck, I bought a ICOM 705, $1,300 at the time, with a whole bunch of accessories in the backpack and the whole 9 yards from a guy in Orlando who you might have talked to on the birds, Mike, N3 UPS. You know Sloan?
No, I never talked to him. I'm still fairly new on birds, so The only
you're
person
doing pretty
I've
good.
really talked to you is you and a couple others I've made contact with. But no, I'm not familiar with that gentleman there.
Well, the first time I took the 705 out to the beach doing QRP with a battery connected, so I was 10 watts, and I heard a call sign from Spain. And my jaw hit the floor because I'm used to talking 2 miles on a CB at that point, or digitally through a FTM 400 with a node or a hotspot. It blew my mind when I'm talking. And this guy was as excited as I was. When I told him I was QRP, he got giddy. He was freaking out, and he must be new too, in Spain. Well, I was hooked. I want to do POTA. I want to do everything. I want to get a big antenna. When I bought my box for my lightning protection, I said, I just need a little box I can fit 2 lightning arresters in there. And he's like, no, you're going to need more. And I said, what do you mean I'm going to need? He goes, buy the biggest box you can afford. I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, right now I got the biggest box I can afford. I got 7 antennas in my backyard, including the 2 up on the tower. And yeah, the rest is history, as they say. So little by little, I dove in head first, and he always encouraged me to start a YouTube channel. Oh, these guys are quitting their day job and they're working a YouTube channel. I said, well, I don't have a job. I'm retired, But yeah, why am I never had an issue being in front of a crowd or talking on a microphone. I was a singer in high school. I was a singer when I got out of high school. I got into a band, and we traveled around with a 20 by 40 foot stage. And different levels too, and sound systems. And I learned how to do stage lighting. I learned how to do microphone placement for a drum set. You think that's easy. It's not easy. There's ways you got to do it. So I learned sound systems. I learned how to wire an XLR connector, which helped when Goldie, the first night I was doing a live stream, after I got her, she chewed through the mic cable. I had to redo it. Anyway, Whiskey Gulf 7 Delta is asking if we're going to Hamcation. Yes, I will be there. And so will Mike. Mike and Mike.
Yep, I'll be there too.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, Glenn showed me, he was talking to Germany on his home radio, and that sent me on the rabbit hole into ham radio. And Jim was the one that kept encouraging me to do a YouTube channel, so I finally decided to do that. And then I find deals like this. This microphone, I don't know if anybody is familiar with sound systems. I know Greg, K6EGG, he helped me out a lot with how to wire everything up. But this mic, this is a Shure SM7B. These are $400 microphones. I got it for $80 on You're Gonna Die TikTok shop. And it's not a knockoff. It's actually a Shure microphone. I was blown away by it. Anyway, so that's how I got into it, and that's what I started doing. And then I got into the satellites. And that was the sad thing too, because Jim, my Elmer, when I said to him, he said to me he talked to an astronaut on the ISS. I'm like, are you kidding? I want to do that. And he showed me the video of him doing it with James Lee, the owner of Shack in the Box. They went out together, and he was able to talk on a satellite. And the sad thing was, James was the one that instigated it. But the satellite was set by the time Jim got his QSO, so James never got a QSO with an astronaut. I felt bad for him. The bottom line is, it's a rabbit hole. It's a hobby of hobbies, and that's what makes this so much fun, because everybody can find what they love and do it in the hobby. So that's what you're doing, and we're together Saturday at Winter Field Day for the Duval Aries group, and up in Jacksonville, and we had a great time. And let's see, who else is here? Good. You got subbed. What is this? What's Iman saying?
He just subscribed to my channel,
Oh, there
my
you
YouTube
go.
channel.
All right, subscribe to his YouTube channel. You'll enjoy it. And you said thanks to him. All right, great. So we went to Field Day, and we had a grand old time. It was a lot of fun. And Mike has sent me some pictures. I am in the middle of editing the video. I wanted to finish it today, but a bunch of things came up. I never got a chance to finish it because I would have just played it during this live feed. But if we go to, let's go there. And let's get this screen up there again. Now, Mike, you can't see this, and it's going to be delayed on YouTube, just so you know. Right now I got the pictures of us up there, and I'm going to scroll through them. How can I do this so you could see it too? Oh, I hit that. I'm trying to think how I can do this two ways.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I can see it on YouTube. I'm aware of the delay.
Okay.
It's not a problem.
Well, there's us. And now here's a picture of an Arrow 2 antenna on a tripod. Was this yours, Mike? The Arrow 2 on the tripod? That's yours, right?
That was mine.
Yeah, Mike tried to do some satellite contacts while we were there, and I filmed him. I have that in when I put the video up, you'll see Mike actually making contacts through the ISS. Here's Mike in the Aries trailer. How many you were working with a 7300 in there, correct?
Yeah, we have two 7300s mounted inside the Aries trailer.
I'm just adjusting some stuff here on the screen that we don't need on the screen. Okay, so yeah, so you had the ICOM 7300. There's actually two stations. To the left of the rack mount you see there's another station with another 7300. And you also have, what are the dual band radios you have in there?
Okay, so under the first station where I'm sitting, there's a FTM 300 to the far left. Next to the right side of it is a ICOM, I believe it's at the 2730. Then to the right of that, which you can't see in the picture there, is an Alinco. It's the DMR radio. I think it's the DJ T5 or something like that. Don't quote me on it. So we have Fusion, VHF, UHF, DMR, and HF at that one station there.
Very nice. I'm trying to remember if the 2730 has D-Star in it.
I'm not sure. That's why I didn't mention it. I'm like,
okay.
I don't think it does. I think it might. I'm not 100% sure if it does or not.
All right, here's a picture of a DX Commander that Mike set up. It's the Expedition, or it's the actual DX Commander?
That's the Expedition model, which I bring out for field day, or if I'm going to a park and I know I'm going to be out there all day, I usually bring the DX Commander out.
Okay, that's really nice. I thought that was, and the best part was you already had it all built, and so you didn't have to tune anything. It all just worked when you put it up.
Oh yeah, just worked. Put it up.
And how many radios do you put on that?
Whatever the manual told me, I can't remember the numbers. So there's 5 bunches of 5 radios in each bunch, and they're about, I can't remember how long they are, but it's not a big radio field, but there's wire on the ground, which is what matters the most, getting the wire on the ground there for your ground radio system.
All right, well, that's those. Let's see, are there any other ones here? Somebody else posted a bunch. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, I just got to click see all. I want to see all the pictures. I think those are the only ones about... Oh, wait, there's more on field day. Here we go. Let me go back a little. Here's the little pavilion we were in. And you see the 3 gentlemen on the left there. They're talking to a gentleman who built a really nice Go box with a Yaesu 891. Battery included, everything, solar generator in there. And he just plugs the solar panels into it, and it charges the battery while he uses it, which is pretty nice. I think that was, skip that one, go the other way. This is a battery box that Mike made. It's a 100 amp hour battery box. I don't know. Sounds like something that K8 MRD made too. Very similar.
That's my buddy. Me and him were going back and forth, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing for your box?" And he shared it with me, and I said, "You know what? That sounds awesome. I'm gonna go to Harbor Freight right now and go pick up a couple. They were on sale too, so
yeah,
I was able to."
I sold my 4U box that I originally had, my 705 Zygo amplifier. It even had cooling fans in it, which were more to blow on me while I was working. When you're out there in the heat, you know what it's like in Florida, Mike. You're out there in the heat, and it's oppressive. So yeah, that's a cool thing. You built a nice box there, and that's already got you got an MPPT solar generator in there too. Controller. Yeah,
right? That's a Victron solar charge controller in there. Everything is fused.
And you got
Got the
the new
droke
meter
meter
on it
there on
too.
the side.
That meter that you have in there, that's a nice meter. That's what I'm putting in my boxes now because it tells you how much you used and how much you recharged, which is pretty cool. Here's a bunch of guys sitting out under the shade, all set up, ready to go. These gentlemen were with the club also, correct?
That's correct. Waiting for the picture to come up on the feed here so I could show who they are.
Yeah, when you get there,
And,
you'll see there's a baseball field, and to the
okay,
right of the
so the
picnic
gentleman,
table
yeah,
is
the gentleman
antenna.
in the blue hat, he is our emergency coordinator for Duval County. So he's the man in charge of Duval Aries. And the one sitting down, that's my friend Wayne. He came to support. He's a ham also.
All right. And the next picture we have, this is, well, you'll take a second to get it, but it'll be there in a second. This is the guy with a go box that I looked at it and I went, that's a heavy box. It needs wheels. And he was like, yeah, I know. I think we all make that mistake on our first go box that we build. We just put everything in it thinking we need everything, and it weighs a ton, and it's like, why?
Yeah. Let me check here. All right. So that gold box is from. That is the other club that we usually. There's three clubs here. We have
Okay.
Duval Aries, for the Aries group, and then there's other radio clubs. We have the North Florida Amateur Radio Society, and we have the First Coast Amateur Radio Society, formerly known as Jacksonville Range Club. And we usually get together and have a combined field day. So that's their goal box for the Range Club that, I forgot this gentleman's name. He's a new tech, and he's been stoked. He's going to get his general too. But he's making contacts under the club call there for field day.
Nice, very nice. That was a big box. There's a close-up of them. Let's see what's next. Here's the guys that were out by that picnic table setting up. They're putting up an antenna in that field behind them. I don't know who these guys are. Were they operating from there, or because they were?
Yeah.
That must be
Yeah,
the
they
other
were
club.
operating from there. That is, let's see, that's KQ4 UQP in the green shirt, and the other gentleman, he's a fairly new ham also. I forgot his name and call. But they were operating there. He was doing mainly NVIS stuff in WinLink. He's more into the digital WinLink stuff, so he was doing that setup there in that ball field.
And here's a little video of Mike. I don't know. Let me pause it for a second. Give Mike a chance to see it. I'll just hit pause. I think it's you actually talking on the radio here. I'm hoping the audio comes through. I don't know. I'm playing it on my main computer, so maybe the audio won't come through, but we'll try. All right. You see you sitting at the desk right now, Mike?
Yeah. I was doing CW most of the time. When he did that video, I actually was just sitting there. I was testing some other stuff. I didn't know he was filming, so he didn't catch me in action. I don't think so.
Let's see. Oh, so we're not going to hear you talking?
Oh
yeah,
no,
we're
I was
hearing some
doing
CW.
CW.
All right, we don't have to watch that. We know what
No.
that looks like. You get a video of that guy. And I think that's it for the Winter Field Day videos on that page. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I had a good time there. It was great to get up there. I love that huge tower that was behind you. That's got to be 400 feet, that thing.
Oh yeah, those are the TV and /FM broadcast towers located there. So 3 of them, well, 4 of them now.
Right. That
Oh,
is
yeah.
that is really neat. I've been into ham radio now 4 years, and I've yet to scratch the surface of everything I can do. I love the satellites. That's what I did the last 2 days. I worked on my rotator, and I made sure everything was aimed correctly. I had an issue yesterday where I was trying to get out to RS-44, and people were hearing me and coming back to me, but I couldn't hear myself. And I was like, why is that? Why can't I hear myself? And then I turned off the preamp, I turned off the power to the preamps. In other words, the preamp was still on, but the power to the one on the mast was shut off. And all of a sudden, I heard myself fine. So I'm like, what the heck was that about? Because I can't hear people on RS-44 very well without the preamp. So I have to use the preamp. But if I power it...
And that's a linear bird, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a linear satellite. For some reason, I couldn't hear myself coming back. I had my RIT set like I always do. I never changed it, and I don't know why. And then I put no RIT. That's receive incremental tuning. You use that on a linear satellite. And I tried adjusting it again. Never heard myself coming back. I couldn't even see myself on a waterfall. But I made QSOs. People heard me. And then today, what was this? I already deleted it. I was on PO 101. And I'm not hearing myself come back, and I'm hearing everybody, and I'm transmitting, and I check the radio, make sure I am sending out a signal. I am. And nobody responded to me. And I was like, uh-oh. So I think the antennas were out of whack in the direction they were aiming. So I lowered the tower today and made sure when it's at 0, it was perpendicular to the ground or parallel to the ground. I haven't had a chance to try another bird. There's a bird coming up. I believe the ISS is going to have a 56-degree pass at 7:45 tonight. So I won't stream that, but I definitely will be on that ISS pass tonight at 7:45.
Okay, so I think the ISS turned off their radios. I saw a message about that. Got a spacewalk coming out.
That's possible. Actually, yesterday, I was making QSOs on the ISS while they had a school contact going on. Because my Geochron plays the audio from the ISS, and I'm hearing SUNY talking to kids, answering questions for kids in the United States. It was. But they didn't turn off the crossband repeater, so I was able to still make contacts on it, which was pretty cool. So,
okay.
Yeah, I was hoping she'd pick up the radio and talk to me, but nah, no such luck. I got to get another astronaut. I got 7. I got to get another one. We need a big ham guy to go up there. There's a lot of ham radio operators on the ISS. It's just that they don't have time to use the radio because
we got to motivate them to pick up the microphone.
Well, not only
So,
that.
I know they don't have that much time. You know, they got to fit it in their schedule, their busy schedules up there.
Well, they only got till 2030. That's 5 years. In 5 years, the ISS is going to be deorbited. And SpaceX is actually going to be the company that does that. They're going to build a special ship to push the ISS out of orbit and come through so they can control where it's going to crash on the Earth, which will be in the middle of the Pacific Ocean somewhere because that's the biggest area of nothing out there. And but I talked to oh God, my mind's blank now. I talked to Frank Bauer from ARISS, and they are working with Axiom Space, who's going to put up a space station. They want them to put a repeater on it, and then a couple other companies have plans for new space stations, and they're going to try to get some up there. Andy Cowley came to the game. Hey, how you doing, Andy? Thank you for coming. So, I haven't even scratched the surface on ham radio and what is possible with it. As a matter of fact, I contemplated getting like a little tripod mount to put on my roof with the rotator for the satellites and putting up an actual giant beam on my tower that I could, a multi-band beam that I could aim to Europe. And then I was thinking about getting an amplifier. And it's a never-ending rabbit hole you run down with ham radio. You could spend every penny of your savings. Now the biggest thing I have, and this is fun, you're going to like this, Mike. My biggest fear is because of the economy and the way the stock market had been over the last 2 years. I was losing money left and right. I might not have enough money to keep going in this house. I might have to move. And then what do? Do I move my 50-foot tower with me? Yeah, I'm going to try. But it's just so much going on. And I'm like, do I really want to go put up another tower if I move someplace else? Nah, I don't think so. But for as long as I can stay here, I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to use it. And I have a blast with it. Did I tell you I actually made my first, FT4 contact on RS-44?
No,
I actually
really?
did FT4 to RS-44 and made a contact. And the funny thing was, basically you set it up and you run it. And it's just transmitting, just like on FT8. The reason they use FT4 is because you can do it in half the time. You can make a contact on FT4 than you can on FT8. The WSJTX Improved has a full duplex mode, which gives you the ability to listen as well as transmit to a crossband repeater like what's on satellites. So yeah, I set it up and I had it running. I didn't see anything on a waterfall, and all of a sudden I looked and I got a confirmed QSO. And I went, oh my God, I did it. I got one. You know, maybe you're going to get one contact doing that. You're not going to get a lot because a lot of people don't even bother doing FT8 or FT4 or stuff like that. It's not their thing. But to do it on a satellite, that blew my mind.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Man.
to see that.
See, I gotta get up to your level.
You can. If you're ever down in Palm Coast and you know there's a pass coming up, come on over. I'll let you use everything I got. You can come over here and play. And then I'm going to warn you, what that's going to do, Mike, is it's going to make you start selling your kids to get enough money to set up a tower.
You're gonna make me spend more money. Like you said, man, it's like a never-ending rabbit hole, man.
It is.
It's like,
I mean, like, I had a friend that was not doing well. He ended up in a nursing home, and we had made an agreement. I was going to buy his 7610 for a very reasonable price. And the reason I was only giving him what I was going to give him was because that house had got hit by lightning, and I don't know if everything works on it. So, but I said, if I can get it for this price, and even if I got to spend $1,000 to get it fixed, it's still worth it, you know. But he backed out at the last minute. Actually, he didn't back out. His kids backed out. His kids want to get top dollar for everything if he passes away. He's in a nursing home now, and I wish him nothing but the best. But boy, it would have been nice to have that radio. I was making all kinds of plans. The 7300 was going in the Go box with a solar controller and a battery, backup battery, and that was gonna be my POTA rig. Now I'm kind of out of a POTA rig right now, unless I want to do what is it?
you got the 705.
I got the 705, but I'm making the 705 is in a Faraday bag right now. By the way, if you guys want to get a Faraday bag like I have, SLNT. Look at the notes on this video and every video I put for the link. Go to SLNT. They make waterproof backpack Faraday bags. And I didn't get the backpack. I actually bought that from my buddy Jim for Christmas. I gave it to him. But I have the, it's not waterproof, but it is a Faraday bag. And now you might not know what that is.
Is it water resistant?
This is it right. Oh, let me switch cameras so people on YouTube can see what I'm holding up. All right, this is the Faraday bag. But what I liked about this one, it's not just a Faraday, it's a tote. So in these little pockets, you have handles like a tote, right? However, if you don't want to use it as a tote, you want to use it as a backpack, you unzip this zipper, and here's the straps to make it a backpack. They come right out and they clip on the bottom here. And
is it water resistant?
Yes, but here's the best part. This came with a pull string bag that is waterproof. But if you look inside here, the 705 is in here. I got an armor lock case for it. The 705 is all the way at the bottom. It's not going to end up on the bottom. It's going to be up toward the top, so I can run it right here. But the battery will be inside. There'll be leads to bring out to hook up to the antenna, and there'll also be leads to hook up to an external battery if I want, or solar panels. I'll have the solar controller in here. I'm wondering if solar panels are affected by EMP attacks. I don't know. Yeah, because there's nothing really electronic on them that actually is doing anything when they're not in use. So, I don't know. But anyway, you can get this from SLNT. There's their logo right there, SLNT. I still got the labels on it. It's not cheap. I'm telling you, it's not cheap. However, if an EMP attack comes, people say, where are you going to go with 10 watts? All over the world, because nobody else's shit's going to work. I'll be the only one.
Can you imagine how quiet it'll be?
Oh, the noise level will be like 2, you know?
Oh, man.
Andy says there's a lot we can buy in ham radio. Yes, there is. There's a lot. There's a lot we can spend money on. I agree, Andy. And let's see. Yeah, we got a few people here today. How many people we got watching right now? It's always a pain because 7 people are watching.
Come on, guys, join us. Come in the chat, say hello.
Yeah, say
Make sure you
something in
hit
the
that
chat.
thumbs up
If you
button.
really, if you really want to come on, I can send you the link to join us in the Zoom meeting, and then you'll be up on the screen next to Mike. Mike's big into POTA. He's got the POTA cruise shirt. He's got the POTA backdrop. Not bad, Mike. Have you done any POTA lately?
Not this past weekend.
Well, no, it was field day.
The weekend before, yeah. The weekend before. I was going to try to take advantage of the new field day rules for winter field day, that is, and rove in different parks while doing field day. I know a lot of people were doing that this weekend, but unfortunately I had to stay behind and do show and tell with the trailer. You know, so we built that trailer from the ground up. I'll have to send you more pics if you want to see how it really is. Actually, I could send you to the website. I'll send you the link. But yeah, we built that trailer from the ground up. I did half the radio rack in there. I installed all the radios. I installed everything else in both operating positions, the monitor, the speakers. I did all that, cable management, and little odds and ends here outside. It was too hot. I don't like to be out in the heat, so I opted to be inside the trailer with the air conditioning on. But
Gee, I can't blame you.
yeah, we were fortunate enough to get a grant from ARDC. I don't know if you heard of ARDC before.
No, tell me
the
about it.
amateur radio. Let me mess up the acronym. Give me 1 second. But they give grants to amateur radio clubs or Aries groups. I'm not going to say clubs, but they promote. I'm trying to get the correct acronym for you.
While you do
amateur
that,
radio. Yeah, amateur radio digital communications.
okay.
They manage giving grants to clubs and Aries groups to help fund purchasing new gear, radio gear.
Right.
And we were fortunate enough to submit and get approval to buy a trailer to support Duval Aries, and that's what we did.
That's nice. We just got a comment here by November 3 Whiskey Echo Romeo. He says, Moon Bounce, to hear your own voice. You know, I am telling you, that's not too far off. My brother's setting it up right. Nice job. Thank you very much. And Andy, you're everywhere. Yes, he is. I knew I made it on YouTube when Andy Cowley started following me, and I thank you greatly, Andy. I knew I was a success at that point. I didn't need anything else. I don't need 1,000 people. But anyway,
Andy doesn't sleep.
No,
I
he's
don't
on
think he
all.
does.
No matter what time I'm on, he's on. You know.
I think Andy has toothpicks permanently glued to keep his eyelids open. I'm not sure. I gotta find out.
Here's something interesting for you guys. If you want to try Moon Bounce, this website, hb9q.ch, write that down. That's for Earth, Moon, Earth. You go to this website, you register with them, and after you register with them, you can click on Start EME Logger. You click on this. This will blow your mind, Mike. You'll like this. You notice across the top of the screen, these are all the bands that people do EME, right? So my friend is mostly on 70 centimeters. So if you click 70 centimeters up here, these are all the people that are active in 70 centimeters on Moon Bounce. Can you get it with 100 watts? They could probably hear you. You're not going to get too far with it. I mean, you're talking about 500,000 miles because you're going 250,000 miles there and 250,000 miles coming back. So you're just bouncing it off an object. Now, another new thing right now, I don't know if it can be done, but if we take a look at my Geochron screen, you guys on YouTube should still see me on there. I set up a new thing on Geochron. Can you see this, Mike? Did it come up on your screen yet? lose your audio, Mike?
Nope, you didn't lose me. I had hit the mute button by accident.
Oh.
We're switching windows. Okay, I see it on the screen now.
All right, so what you're looking at here, this is a feature that you can do on Geocron, and you people know how I bitch about Geocron. I can't wait to see Patrick at Hamcation, because I'm not gonna read him the riot act. He's trying, but they do so many things that diminish how good this thing is, and I really wish they didn't. But if you notice the purplish area, that is the area where the moon is visible right now. That's where the moon can be seen. The black dot in the center, that is the moon. And today is the new moon, so nobody can actually see the moon because just the dark side is facing us. But this is where you can see the moon. So anybody within this purple area can do moon bounce. That's why I have it there. And this way I can know when the moon is actually available to me.
Now, is it hard to do that? I mean,
it's basically a simplex frequency, transmitting and receiving on the same frequency, and you're just aiming your antennas at the moon. A lot of guys, there's all kinds of things, like you know how my satellite antennas are. You know my antennas are 2 Yagis mounted on a cross arm and a rotator to aim. Well, I can go into the sat box, if you guys have ever seen me use the sat box, and for the satellite, I can just type in the word moon, and it will track the moon. It will turn the antennas to point directly at the moon. So what a lot of guys do, they use multiple antennas. Last week I had the guy I got the Wemo antennas from, God, my mind's blank. And he was talking about phasing antennas. The guy that bought my egg beaters, N9 HF, down in Norman Beach, he does a lot of moon bounce. He's the one that told me about this website, told me how to get to it, and how to use it. He has 4 12-foot, 70-centimeter Yagis on an array, and he used an amplifier. I think he's doing 500 watts or something for EME, and it works. But he's got 4 antenna that are phased together, and it's on a rotor. It's on an azimuth elevation rotor like the Yaesu, but it's a more expensive one. He told me it's more accurate than the Yaesu. And all 4 of these antennas will turn and move and point at the moon whenever he wants to do it. And I'm going to be working with him. I'm going to get together with him someday and try to actually do this and see if I could do it successfully by him and then know how to do it. It's basically, I was telling you before, my Elmer Jim, when I asked him about satellites, he said, I know nothing about satellites, and my heart sank because I had to learn this. I wanted to do it. Being a kid that grew up watching the Mercury program and the Gemini program and the Apollo program and then the shuttles, I lived vicariously through all these astronauts. I actually met a few of them and told them that. I said, when I was a kid, my 2 brothers and I made believe we were Apollo astronauts. We'd hang the quilts off the side of the bunk beds and lay on our backs in the bottom bunk like we were in a space capsule going to space. And we'd walk around the bedroom like we were spacewalking. And it was so exciting to see that. And this is why I have a season pass for Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, because I go there 4 or 5 times a year and just drool. Mostly because 90% of what you see there is not a gimmick. It's the actual rockets that were used and the actual equipment that was used. The Atlantis alone is worth the price of admission. That just seeing that space shuttle mounted on an angle with the cargo bay doors open so you could see inside, it's incredible. It's absolutely, I love that stuff. I eat it up. That's my Disney. I love that place. So many people go to Epcot. I got a season pass. Put a hotel next to Kennedy Space Center, and I'll stay there for a weekend and go there for 3 days in a row. It's a lot of fun. And I got to meet, over the years, I met a bunch of astronauts. I'm really bummed out because Catherine Thornton was down there this week, and I couldn't get there. As you know, a lot of people know, do I have the music on? Holy am I playing the music on YouTube? I just shut it off. I can't believe I had that. Oh, wait, that was you, Mike. That wasn't me. Oh, it wasn't the music. It was you. Okay.
Oh.
Don't mind me. I'm still new at all this stuff. I've only been doing this about a year and a half. Actually, a year and a half where I got serious with it. A year where it's like super serious. But we got 7 people watching. Where is everybody tonight? Usually we get like 12 people. I'm surprised. Anyway, so what are your plans for the future? What is the next big thing you want to do? You want to accomplish?
Learning and being fluent in CW.
I kind of got that impression because that's what you wanted to do during field day.
That's my next goal. I mean, 'cause that was just like you, back in the early '90s when when I wanted to get my ticket, I couldn't grasp code, so I put it to the back burner, and at the same time, my law enforcement career started. So, and I was still working with a company. Now you're from the Northeast. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Metrocom. It used to be in Lower Manhattan. They were a big radio communications company located in New York City.
Yeah.
And I used to work with them. I knew a couple of people there, and I used to work with them part-time, doing repeater installations and repairing radios. That's where I learned how to tinker and repair commercial radios, Motorola equipment per se. And
now you were working in New York City?
yeah, I was working in New York City. I was a teenager at that time. I lived in the Bronx, born and raised in the South Bronx.
I love the Bronx. Now, I love it now. After Giuliani, they really cleaned it up pretty nice.
Oh yeah.
I used to love going to Yankee Stadium, driving up. I'd go up the Cross Bronx and get off at, what's that street? Oh, the one that runs under the railroad tracks.
Jerome Avenue.
Jerome Ave. Yeah, I would get off Jerome Ave and sneak into Yankee Stadium the back way that way. And I beat all the traffic on the Cross Bronx, not on the Cross Bronx, on the Henry Hudson or the FDR Drive.
The Deegan. The Major Deegan. And
Major Deegan, yeah, on the Hudson River. And I miss all that. And the one time I went, I'll never forget this. I come up off of the Cross Bronx, stop at the light, and a guy's panhandling there. So I was like, I got nothing for you. But I had a bunch of pretzels. I had a bag of pretzels we were eating in the car. I said, hey, you want a pretzel? And as I handed him the pretzel, he reached in, tried to get the chains out of my console. And I was like, you mother... I wanted to close the window on his arm and drive away.
Yeah, they're very disrespectful.
That was before Giuliani. After Giuliani, it kind of cleaned it up. It was a little nicer. But after he left, it went to crap again under Bloomberg and all the other ones. I will not go back. I used to go to New York City every weekend. I would never do that again. I'm done. Done with New York City.
I still travel back and forth only because unfortunately I still have family that's there. So
right. Well, I got family in New Jersey, River Edge and Ringwood, and my other sister lives in Wisconsin with my mom. So I go out there to see my mom. That's the only reason I was going back to New Jersey was to see my mom. And after my brother John passed away, I kept going up there to see her because, that's where she was going to spend the rest of her life with him. Down in Myrtle Beach, and then he passed away. So she lives with my sister in Wisconsin and telling me about the weather. It's like minus 11 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my God. I said, well, I'll come visit you, but not then. Last year I went there, a year ago, Thanksgiving. I went there to see them on Thanksgiving, and my first introduction was falling down a flight of stairs and bruising my ribs. But I had my mom's stuffing, so that's all that mattered. Anyway,
that's all that matters.
It took me 6 weeks before the pain went away. And I realized, that ain't... Well, that's what I get for trying to climb down the stairs. I got the ICOM 705 backpack on my back. I got a carry-on in this hand, and I got my main suitcase here, and I took one step. And I didn't just fall, slip and bounce down on your butt. No, that would have been great. No, I remember seeing my feet go by as I'm looking at the ceiling, and that was not a good signal. I knew something seriously wrong was happening. Anyway, yeah. So, so you're originally from New York. Now, you're involved in law enforcement now? What are you doing with law enforcement?
Well, I'm retired, and that's what led me down here to Florida.
Okay.
I own my
you
own...
look like you're 40. I swear to God, black people never age.
There's gray hairs, But I'm retired, and I own my own company. I own my own security protection company down here in Northeast Florida.
Okay, this is going to blow your mind. This next question. Did you know Bill Montague? You said you worked with Motorola equipment. He was in New Jersey. I worked with him with the ambulance squad in Rochelle Park, but he worked for a company that dealt with nothing but Motorola equipment. I remember they had a Faraday cage in the building. It was the coolest thing in the world. Bill and I know each other since I was in the civil defense in 8th grade. I knew Bill, and he was a big shot with Motorola in the Northeast.
I can't remember. The name sounds familiar, but
oh, he was a
probably
tall, skinny,
we probably saw
dorky
each other.
He was a
you know,
tall,
here and
skinny,
there.
dorky-looking guy. Wore glasses, wire rim glasses with the tape in the middle and the pocket protector over here.
That was like 10 of them there. That looked like that.
Anyway, Bill was a really cool guy. I got interested in radio from him. He helped me out when I got into CBs. And, yeah, he was from Rochelle Park. Great guy. That's the town I grew up in, Rochelle Park. And then I moved to New Milford. I lived there actually longer than anywhere until I moved here. I've lived here not even close yet. I got out of my house at 21, and then I lived in New Milford for 23 years. And then I moved to Florida, and I've been here now 13 years. Is it 13?
Okay.
Yeah, I came in 2012. Wow. March of 2012, I moved here. So, yeah, and then I started looking for a house, and I got my house in August of 2012, and I absolutely love it. The first thing I did when I came down here, my brother, John, who passed away, was a big biker. He would come down for Bike Week, and he could never get a decent picture of himself on his motorcycle. So he said to me, because I was doing photography on the side, I was working for Verizon as my day job. And I did all the police 911 systems. I put fiber optics in for cell towers, and because no matter what company you have as a cell service, they all go through the local phone company fiber optic networks. So they're all connected. And I worked on all that stuff. And all the guys I worked with were drinkers or drug addicts. So nobody wanted to do the police. So I was Mr. Goody Two-Shoes because I didn't want to jeopardize my pension. And I said, I'll take all the 911 systems. Well, it turned out I was like the ace at it. And I had a great time with it. I enjoyed it. And the dirty little secret I didn't tell anybody is I had every tech support company for every company that made 911 system in my phone. So if I couldn't figure out how to fix it, I'd call the guy and say, hey, this is what's happening. How do I get this working? And he'd give me the answer, which was great. And people thought I was such a genius. I wasn't. I just knew who to ask. That's it. But anyway, yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I've been involved in all kinds of radios my whole life. CB was what I got into personally, but I used a lot of police radios. I used the emergency radios on the ambulance squad. You learn etiquette, what not to say, what to say.
It's a little beat up, but you remember these.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's a museum piece.
Yeah. It's a little beat up. I don't know if I could get this on.
Yeah,
You
hold
see
it in
the
front. Bring it down a little bit. NYPD, yeah.
These were NYPD batteries, sabers.
Is the statute of limitations off on
Yeah.
that, so you can't get arrested for stealing it?
No, I still have all my stuff here. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice stuff.
One.
Nice equipment.
What else I have over here? Saber threes.
Oh wow. I have stuff. My first big job when I started with Verizon in 1973 was converting 4-party lines to 2-party lines, because we all of a sudden we had enough copper that you didn't have to have 4 people on one pair of wires. You could separate it only 2 people on one pair of wires. But in the process, taking out the old phones, some of the old phones you couldn't convert to 2-party. They were only going to work on 4-party lines. And these phones were built in 1935. I got 2 or 3 of them. The second style dial phone put out by Western Electric. It's an oval base with a suede bottom on a cast aluminum case. It's absolutely a beautiful piece of artwork. I'm thinking of a museum somewhere that might want to have these, but I've hung on to them since 1973. I took them out of people's houses, and I said, I ain't turning these in. I'm keeping these. These are good. And I still have them. I moved them down here when I moved to Florida. They're in a box, but yeah, I mean, those were the days, man. That was everybody had a wire going to their house. Every phone was hardwired to the wall. If you wanted a long cord on your phone, I had to come to your house and install it. And man, when they came out with modular phones, we almost had a riot in the union. We're like, hey, you're going to put us out of a job. Yeah, they were. And now nobody's even using those phones. Doesn't matter that they're modular and they have little plugs. Everybody's got a cell phone now. Nobody's using wired phones anymore. I know of one person by me who he was an assistant fire chief here in Palm Coast. He still has a hardwired telephone in his house. He goes, that's because it's hooked up to batteries in the central office and it'll always work. Well, I informed him the dirty little secret. There's no wires going all the way back to the central office anymore. They all go to what they call a CIV, Controlled Environmental Vault. They're either buried in the ground or in their above-ground cabinets, and they're fed with fiber optics that then send the signal out on copper. It's not like you have a pair of wires going all the way back to the central office anymore. Which the reason that was so good is because even if there was a power outage, the central office had batteries that made the phones work. Well, that's not the case anymore. Everything, this above ground CIV, Controlled Environmental Vault, has to have a generator on it to keep it going. So if there is a blackout and there's no generator there, the batteries only last 8 hours. After that, everything goes dead. So I hated to inform him of that. He thought he had a wire going all the way back to the office. I'm like, not anymore. Nobody does.
Well, you
anymore.
you just taught me something. I didn't know that the central office was gone too. Okay.
The central office is still there because all the fibers are terminated there.
Okay.
But the copper stuff, most of it doesn't go back to the central office anymore. Probably if you're close to the central office, it goes back to it. But if you're far away, it's fed, the box is fed by fiber optics that then go through a computer muxer, demuxer, and splits it out to copper wires. For the longest time, Verizon, since I retired in 2010. In 2010, they were trying to find out a way to get rid of copper so they don't have to maintain it. Fiber optics are 1,000 times easier to maintain than copper is.
Copper.
N3WER is asking, what's his call? Whose call? Whose call sign do you want to know? Mike's or mine? I'm KO4PDI, and Mike is...
KG2 Mike.
KG2 Mike. And listen for him on the satellites. He works portable out of his car sometimes, and you might be able to pick him up in Jacksonville. I get him from Jacksonville because it's head to head. We'd never be able to talk to each other because we're so close. What's it, 60 miles between me and you?
Yeah, give or take.
And with satellites, it doesn't matter because it's going up into space and coming back down, so we could talk to each other on that. And I've gotten Mike on there. He's in my logbook. Anything else that you wanted to tell us about, Mike? We're almost done. We've been on almost an hour.
Yeah, I gotta go get some dinner. So, no, nothing else really. I just wanted to say thank you for coming out. I had a great time hanging with you, and introducing you to all the people there. A couple of satellite heads was there as well. And they said they worked you before. I'm not sure if you touched base with them or not while you were there. Did you speak to some of the other guys? Yeah,
Paul was the other guy doing satellites.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to talk to him that day, but I had to get going because I had things to do and my dog was getting bored, and that's not good.
Yeah.
When a dog gets bored, something's getting chewed up. So you want to keep her active. You want to keep giving her treats.
Oh, she was a blast, man.
Right?
She was awesome.
K9AUY. Kilo 9 Alpha Uniform Yankee. That's my dog. Her name is Goldie, and if you looked in her eyes, you'd understand why. But anyway, Mike, thank you so much for coming. I'm glad you had time to be here tonight, and I will be getting that video out tomorrow. I promise. I will put that video out. There's a little music background with some video of just walking around and looking at everything, and it'll be nice. And then you and I talked, and then we talked to the gentleman who made the Go Box. I talked to him. I got the video of you doing the ISS pass. That'll be in there, so it'll be a nice little video. It'll be out tomorrow. I'll finish editing it either tonight or tomorrow and get it out there. So, Mike, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight, and hold on.
All right, man. Take care, Mike. Great seeing you. And we'll
See you
talk
later.
again soon. Take care. All right, everybody. This is Mike, KO4PDI. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Mike is a great guy. Hope you get him on the satellite sometime. And have yourselves a great evening. This is Mike, KO4PDI, and you know what I always say, don't do anything I wouldn't do, at least not without me, all right? This is Kilo Oscar 4, Papa Delta India saying, take care, be well, 73.